But what do you think
I
though?
smoked
What do you
marijuana
think of
before.
marijuana though? Like, do you think, for example, it should be legalized? I'm asking that question.
I don't think so.
You don't think
I
so?
smoked it before, but I don't think it should be legalized.
You don't?
No.
Why?
Because sometimes people don't know what's best for them, and that is why we have rules and regulations in society. And as the more our moral standards decay, the more we want to push back these rules and regulations. And a society.
Do you think the society is not decaying when arbitrary detentions is going on?
Yeah, it is actually decaying, but not necessarily because of arbitrary detentions, but also the moral standards of people are decaying too.
The moral standards?
Yeah.
In what way?
Police officers, just like us sitting here, they're people, right? And the same way our moral standards are decaying, theirs are decaying too, right?
In what way?
So sometimes we only look at it from one side. Police officers, for example,
In what way?
Targeting
Yes,
specific people.
you said that they were being.
But people also provoke police officers.
How are they provoking police
Right.
officers?
For example, say somebody comes and they stop you. A police officer stops you, right? And he asks you to see your ID. The first thing somebody might say is, "Why do you want to see my ID?"
Actually, do you think they should be doing that?
Hey, it happens in other countries, man. It's not only here.
Well,
Right?
do you think it should happen anywhere?
If they stop you, the first question.
If you're not operating a vehicle, I'm asking. Let me ask you.
Somebody stops
Well,
me.
you're asking me
If
a
a
question.
police officer stops me, right? The first thing that
Do you
comes
think
to
they
my
should be
mind,
the police officer should be stopping you if you're not operating a vehicle
if you are not operating a vehicle,
and you are not doing any and if you are not stealing
okay,
anyone?
if a police officer stops me, whether they're targeting me or not, and I'm not operating a vehicle and they stop me, if I didn't do anything wrong, then I have no reason to be afraid that they stop
Well,
me.
it's not about
So,
being afraid. It's about.
I have no reason for
But,
not wanting them to stop me. I would
Well,
think
why-
that it
why
would be
should-
in my best interest and the best interest of others around me for our protection for him to stop me.
Really?
Because as I said, the moral standards of people are decaying. And if somebody on the road, for example, did something or
Like what?
or they see some kind of suspicious activity that you've been performing.
What's suspicious?
I mean, generally,
Define suspicious.
activity.
Define suspicious.
You look suspicious.
In what way?
You fit a specific. For example, let me give you another example.
What?
You mentioned marijuana.
What's suspicious?
You mentioned marijuana a while ago.
I did. No, but you haven't defined suspicious.
Listen,
What's
listen.
suspicious?
You're trying to direct me into speaking what you want to say.
No,
when
no,
you ask me
no.
a question, let me answer the question.
Okay,
Okay? A while ago you mentioned marijuana.
I did.
Before marijuana was illegal, right? Before marijuana was illegal, generally, everywhere. It
Yes.
was illegal to possess, to smoke marijuana. It was illegal, generally, right? Before that, before it was made legal, people would walk around and you pass by a police officer and they smell or the scent of marijuana and he would stop you. That's suspicious activity, right? You smell marijuana on this guy, I stop you because it's illegal.
But okay, in that sense, are you saying that whites are not smoking marijuana the same?
Whites?
Yes.
You just brought that up. I think
I did not bring that
I
up.
don't know what
I
your
think
major is.
no. I
don't
think
know what your major
I think
is,
I
but
think
you just bring up stuff
no,
in
no,
order to get me into speaking a certain thing.
no. I've never said that. You're putting words into
First
my
of all,
mouth.
I mentioned that I'm from the Caribbean island, right?
And
Racial lines, I don't see it.
no, I don't know. I'm not
I
saying
don't
that.
see it.
I'm not
And
saying
you
that.
mentioned whites.
You're-
Now explain, qualify your what you were saying about
Well,
whites.
for example, Tim Wise is acknowledging, and based on the statistics, for example, that whites are smoking at the same rates blacks are, and they may be even smoking more than blacks are smoking, and yet in the prison population, only a certain type of people are going to prison, and so
Actually, I read this book by this black author, psychologist, PhD. His name is Jones, and he said a lot of the statistics that people are getting out saying that black people, the majority of black people are in jail, as opposed to whites and other.
Have you ever been to jail? Have you ever
Other-
visited jail?
I
Do you
have.
know who? You have?
I have.
Okay.
See, so the statistics that we get, right, and the statistics that we're propagating, right, the things that we're saying is actually increasing the number of black people in jails. You know why? Because you increase suspicion, not only in black people, but you increase suspicion in also white population, right? So when they hear these statistics, these negative statistics,
It's not negative.
Society,
It's factual statistics.
negative factual statistics, right?
It's factual statistics. If you are deeming the statistics to be negative,
Yeah.
then like that's your opinion. But
Yeah.
I think we
But
must
see,
recognize
but
that
an
it's
attitude,
factual.
But an attitude like
It's
that
not-
is actually what leads people into feeling targeted. You know
Are you
that,
saying
right?
are you saying then there is no targeting going on?
If you, as a human being,
Are you saying that whites are not smoking marijuana at the same rate blacks are?
I'm not saying that, and you brought up the topic of whites and blacks.
Well, because you
right?
said that blacks who are smelling of marijuana should
I never
be.
said blacks. I didn't say race. I said you smell marijuana,
Do you smell marijuana on me right now?
not you. I just said generally.
Okay, but if somebody smells of marijuana, do you think if they are not doing anything else but just smelling
But
marijuana?
I smell it.
But
That's
do-
suspicious activity. That's what I said. I said suspicious activity.
And do you think for smelling marijuana you should be arrested and sent to jail?
For suspicious activity, the police officer has a right to stop you and ask you at least for your ID.
Do you think though people should be arrested for smoking marijuana?
If it was illegal, yes.
But I'm not. You're again saying something. You're avoiding the question. Do
I'm
you
not
think?
avoiding the question. If it was illegal, you should be arrested for
Do you not
smoking
think it should be
marijuana.
legalized then? So you obviously.
Marijuana is already legal in what?
No, it's not. It's only legal in 3
In
states.
certain states, right?
Yes.
Right. So if it was not, that's what I said. If it was illegal, you should be arrested. If it's legal, then why? How could you arrest somebody?
Are you
for
saying
something
it's
that's
not legal in DC?
It is legal in DC.
So people should not be arrested for smoking marijuana? You don't think so?
How could you be arrested for something that is legal?
So like, if it was
Okay,
if
wait,
it was illegal in Missouri
Tell
and you
me
smoke.
what you're trying to get me to say, and I'll say it for the record. Okay?
No, no, I'm not.
'Cause it
I'm not.
seems that's what you
I'm not.
want me
No,
to do.
I'm not trying to get you to say anything, but I'm trying to like speak, to have an honest conversation about race.
Right.
Are you saying that whites are not smoking marijuana at the same rate as blacks are?
I don't know because I never mentioned race.
You never mentioned it, but
You know,
I did.
when I speak to anybody, I never mention
No,
race.
no, but I'm asking you a
Actually,
question.
I think you are actually you're actually very aggressive. I used to work for civil rights activists, right? I used to work for Center for Law and Social Justice for years, right? And you see a lot of what you're doing right now, right? Is actually it's irritating, man. It's irritating, you know, and it's an attitude like that that
How
actually,
is it? No, no,
that
no,
actually
how-
gets people to feel targeted. you
How
know?
is it? How is it? How is it? No, for example, like,
it-
do you
'cause-
think asking questions is irritating?
No.
Because
but the way you
also
ask
I've-
the question,
I've only-
it fuels
What-
it fuels some
you can-
kind of
you-
emotion
well,
that
no.
causes me to think that there is somebody targeting me, or that there's difference between one human being and another human being
Are you
because
then?
of their color.
Well, are you saying there's not?
I'm not saying that there is not. I'm not saying that there is not.
So
But
what are you
I'm
saying?
Is that when you continue with an attitude like that and asking questions like that and going about getting me to say what you want me to say?
I'm not getting you to say anything.
example, you
Well,
brought up the
have I
topic of
forced
white
you to
people
say?
and black
Have I
people.
forced you to say anything that you do not want to? I'm asking you a question, and I can phrase the question whichever way I want to. You cannot tell me not how to
I
phrase a
don't know if you're a
question.
reporter, but you're a bad reporter, right?
Well,
I don't know what you are, but whatever you are, you're bad at it, you know?
Are you saying that I cannot ask questions?
No, you cannot. When you ask questions, you ask...
Well, you're telling me how to phrase questions.
I'm not
telling you how to answer, but you're telling me how to phrase questions.
You cannot just bring up a random arbitrary question from nowhere
It's not
that
arbitrary.
has nothing to do with your initial topic. What did you come here asking me about?
I came
Do you
here-
even remember?
Yes.
What?
My first question was with regards to Miranda rights.
Uh-huh. And from Miranda rights, right? You jump to marijuana, and from marijuana, you jump to white people. Now tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it.
Well, first of all, have I forced you to say
You
anything
didn't
you do
force
not?
me to say anything.
Now you're
But
telling
you
me how to
notice-
phrase
but
questions.
you notice
You're telling me
speaking-
how to phrase
it's
questions.
like you're writing an essay, and you're writing the essay in a very bad way. You know why? Because you have 5 different topics, and none of them make sense. You know what they call that? They call it run-on sentences, right? From one topic to another topic to another topic, you're running on and not making any sense. I hope that's going on the record because whatever you're doing is bad.
It's going on the record, and you are on the record. But what I'm doing is talking about race and
About what race?
Yes, and nobody is
Whoa.
talking about
So,
race like
okay,
I am.
Now you're making sense.
Nobody's-
That's why you started about Miranda rights, then you went to marijuana, and then you went to whites.
Yes.
I didn't know you was talking about race. Now you tell me you're talking about race.
Well, it's about
I knew
race.
that's what you wanted me to say.
Well, it is about race.
Now tell me what you... Now ask me the question now.
Well, it's all about race, and I do not want you to say anything. I do not want to force you to say anything, but you can also not tell me how to phrase questions.
There are some... Okay, since we're talking about race now, right? There are some situations that I do feel profiled and targeted, right? There are some situations, but I don't think it's the general consensus of society. I think it's certain ignorant people that have ideology about what race is supposed to look like. I'm a human being, and if you are a human being of any race, creed, color, whatever, right? You're supposed to treat me like another human being, right?
Well,
And if you do not treat me like another human being,
have you
then I
been-
see ignorance in you, generally, from different races.
well,
right?
have I mistreated you in any
Not
way?
you, I'm just saying generally.
And in general, so like first of all, like you were never mistreated.
Never mistreated.
I mean, so like
Actually, yeah.
so like you would not feel the need to bring up a conversation about race, but I'm talking about arbitrary detentions because I have seen that firsthand. You know, I've seen like minorities going to jail on trumped up charges, and I have also been to jail on trumped up charges.
Can
and
I
so
tell you
for
what I
me
have
to
seen
bring up,
firsthand?
yeah, definitely.
I was stopped by a police officer in New York, right?
Yeah.
Stopped by a police officer. And I was upset that day. I didn't even notice what I was doing. I walked through the turnstile without paying. Right? And he stopped me. He came from nowhere. He stopped me. And when I noticed, I was like, oh my goodness, I just walked through the turnstile. And he said, can I see your ID? And I gave it to him. And when I gave him my ID, I was calm. And he looked at me. And he said, sit down. And no matter what he said, because he was expecting me to answer in a harsh manner, no matter what he said, I said yes or no. And he looked at me and he said, how old are you? At the time I was 25. I said, I'm 25. He said,
How old are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay.
He said, impossible. He looked at my ID, said, you're right. And he said, I have not seen somebody respond the way you responded. He gave me a ticket, rightly so, because I walked through the turnstile without paying, right? But that police officer gave me my ticket and he said, have a good day. He was surprised as to the way I responded. You know why? I noticed that there was an authority figure and I did something suspicious or I broke the law and I obeyed, right? In any other situation, you might see somebody reacting, and that's what I call provoking a situation, right? When you provoke, right,
How-
a soft answer would turn away wrath. But when
Well,
you
for
provoke
example-
somebody, they will get angry as human beings.
Well, for example, like it's about like you talked about provoking, but how would you provoke an officer?
I just mentioned it. Anger, the way you respond, resisting arrest.
Well, are
For
you saying
example,
are you
police
saying that people should not be resisting arrests if they are being arbitrarily
You should
detained?
not resist arrest.
Well, are you saying that you're not if a police officer
Arbitrarily comes and
how would you
tries to
define
detain
arbitrarily
you.
detention?
Okay.
How do you define arbitrary detention?
For no reason whatsoever, somebody comes and arrests you, right? Or you not knowing.
Well,
or not
police.
being
Well,
read your Miranda rights.
I think we should call a cat. So like it's a police officer with a gun coming
Right.
and arbitrarily arresting you. So
Right.
that's what's going on.
Right.
And you are
Even in
sitting
that
in a
situ-
McDonald's, and you are sitting in a
Like say a
McDonald's.
police officer comes now and arrests me.
Yes.
I don't think you should resist arrest in any situation. Not like that, no. You know why? You see, at that moment, I realized one thing, that person is an authority figure. And another thing I realized is he has a gun. If he arrests me, right, there is no way that I could,
Are you saying you should be arrested then?
I'm not saying that I should be arrested, but if I resist arrest, that is now,
So now you're
that is
talking.
now giving him reason.
So now you're talking about Mike Brown.
Mike Brown,
So you're now talking about people who have resisted arrest and been shot afterwards.
or killed, yes.
Yes.
Or died.
And do you think they should have been shot or killed?
Mike Brown resisted arrest.
And I
You
mean,
noticed that, right?
well, others have
You
resisted.
realize that, right?
Well, and do you think he should have been shot and killed?
Mike Brown,
Yes.
he resisted arrest, and if I am a human being, a police officer, and somebody is resisting arrest,
Well, let's talk about Mike Brown
as a human being,
and let's talk
my
about the
first line
circumstances of the
defense
arrest.
would be possibly pulling out the form of protection that I have, which is a gun. The police officer is just another human being. He acts in a manner that human beings would normally act.
What do you think?
If they put a
Do you think
uniform
Mike
on you
Brown
and
should
they
have
give you
been?
a gun,
Do you think
you'll
Mike
try
Brown
to
should have
protect
been
yourself.
shot? Do you think Mike Brown should have been arrested, shot, and killed?
I mean, I don't think anybody should be arrested, shot, or killed. But if you put yourself in a situation like that, you will reap what you sow.
Well, you will reap what you sow.
You will reap
But-
what you sow.
and so, are you saying that he should have been arrested, shot, and
I
killed?
said, and I'm repeating, I don't think that anybody should be arrested, shot, or killed. Including Mike Brown.
And so, what are you saying?
I'm saying what I just said.
So you're saying that you should be arrested. You should not be resisting arrest.
Listen to me very well. I said I don't think anybody should be arrested, shot, or killed.
Okay. So you have like a conflicting opinion on that, but like for me,
Yes, I understand that we have conflicting opinions. That's what people have, conflicting opinions. That's what police officers. I mean, we have conflict. We're different people. Everybody you come across will conflict in some kind of opinion at some point or another point. What is civilized is we could sit and talk about conflicting opinions and hopefully come to some kind of agreement, a balance, or one side is one over another side.
Okay, then let's continue the conversation. What do you think of cell phones?
Cellular phones, what about it?
What do you think, for example, of
It's a wonderful piece of technology that keeps people connected.
let's keep it real though. Let's go beyond that and let's talk about the practical issues.
Tell me your
you-
question and I'll answer the question.
Well, you were, for example, on your laptop. I have a laptop. Hopefully, you can watch my laptop, and so like nobody touches my stuff because I have my back turned, and so like you have my back in that way. But my question is, you have a laptop right now, and do you not think that when you are on Google, for example, someone is watching what you are doing?
Maybe they are.
Do you not think they are, or do you think they are?
Maybe they are.
What do
I'm
you
not
think?
a conspiracy theorist.
What nobody is being a conspiracy
and I
theorist.
told you that I'm a scientist, right?
Nobody's being a conspiracy
I
theorist.
only deal.
What do you
I
think?
only deal with evidence. If I don't see evidence, I cannot conspire or come up with something. I have to see evidence in order for me to prove that this is being done.
Okay, and so are you saying that cell phones are not being tapped?
I'm not saying that they are, and I'm not saying that they're not. Maybe they are.
And so, like, would you say that they should not be tapped?
I'm saying that if it is being tapped, then it should not. Because it's private.
And so, like, if I showed you a bugged cell phone, would you
If
say
you show me a what?
a bugged cell phone?
A bugged cell phone.
Would you be able to say on your Facebook page that cell phones should not be bugged?
I mean, if I see evidence, then of course I'll speak out against negative acts in society. Any negative thing that is portrayed, I will speak out or stand against any negativity.
Okay, then, like, because I previously, well, let's talk about
I
fact.
told you, I worked for the Center for Law and Social Justice for many years. If you know what they do, then I am an advocate of human rights. I tell you, right? I'm an advocate of human rights. So if I see anything that disturbs another human being's peace, then I will speak out or stand against it.
Okay. Do you have YouTube?
I do.
Can you go on YouTube?
Right now?
Yeah.
You know, you are one of the weirdest beings I have met in a long time.
why do you say that?
Because your questions, I know they have direction in your head, but it's not coming out like it has direction. If you understand what I'm saying.
How is it coming out?
Because you want me to say exactly what you want to hear. And I'm
Have I forced you to say? No, 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 no.
And I will not say.
Have I forced you? Have I
say.
forced you to say anything you did not
You
want?
tried.
So, you're telling me how to phrase questions, but I never told you how to
You're
answer
telling
them.
me how to answer questions.
No, no. I phrased questions in a manner which suits
I
me.
wish you could hear yourself.
No, no. I hear myself just fine, and afterwards, like I'm
What do you
reviewing the
want me to
records.
look at on YouTube?
For example, how did I know my phone was bugged? Yahoo. It's a question I asked and I answer.
How did I know my phone was bugged?
Yes.
See, you're doing something. I am not. I am not much of a conversationist. I don't really have much conversation with people, and so this is interesting for me. Uh, what I know about life is that people will always be people, you know, and because of our continuously decaying morals, we will always do questionable things. But in a civilized society, we can all sit down, and discuss these questionable things, and hopefully come to a conclusion.
Decaying
before
moral
it's too late.
values.
Mhm.
What's decaying morals?
Decaying morals. Now, for example, pornography is widely available and accepted in society. Right? What we knew as morals back then are not morals now.
So do you think it's immoral to be watching pornography?
Hey, if it was not immoral to be watching pornography, right? If it was not, why would it be?
But say it's two pictures with two headphones, and I want you to see which one you like better. Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, you still haven't answered the question, though.
Do I think it's immoral to be watching pornography?
It's a
I
question.
think it is.
Really?
Mhm.
At the same rate, would you say that having sex is immoral?
No.
So what makes the act of pornography immoral for you?
Illicit sex.
They're illicit.
Mhm.
Are you saying it's unlawful?
What?
Well, we don't know what those people who are being on those pornography sites are going through. You know, are you saying they are being forced to have sex?
I said, when you have multiple partners, you know what? That's a different topic, and I don't want to really get into it. Forget it. Ask me another question. I don't want to get into it because that is not the direction of your whole conversation.
Okay, then let's talk about the topic which I care about, which is mass surveillance.
Which is what?
Mass surveillance.
Mass
Surveillance.
surveillance.
Yes.
How to tell if your phone is tapped at?
No. Can I see what you're looking at? How did I know my phone was bugged? It's not even there. It's how did I know? It's not how do I know?
How did I know?
Yes, how did I know? So it's me right here. Yes, it's me right here. And so I basically managed to prove my phone was bugged. And for me that was an eye awakening experience. So, and that changed my perspective of life completely.
Interesting. I personally don't care if my phone is bugged. I have no secrets.
But I think I care more now because
Why? Because you have something to hide.
No, it's not that. It's because of police abuse of power and
Police abuse of power.
yes, because I was previously arrested and I can say this now, and they deleted evidence. And so it's two things that is going on really, which I have noticed. It's the deletion of evidence and your sometimes inability to write reports and your being able to prove that your cell phone is bugged. And so what you are seeing in this video is inconsistencies which I proved, in the sense that in my cell phone, I was familiar with this technology of that cell phone. I had emails which were coming in which I was not seeing in my computer. So that's how basically one can prove his cell phone is bugged.
Emails are coming in.
Emails are coming in on your cell phone, and yet you are not seeing those emails on your computer. Do you know what I'm saying? For example, email is coming in on your cell phones and saying your account is such and such, and yet that email though is not on your laptop on your, for example, if you have a laptop and you're going on your Gmail account, you're not seeing that email on your computer, but you're seeing it on your phone. And so like
You
that.
know that is kind of conspiracy theory,
It's,
kind of crazy, freaky stuff,
no,
right?
I mean, I mean, like
I'm just
it is,
saying.
it is a bit freaky.
just
It's a
saying.
bit freaky, but it's no conspiracy to say like
Okay.
your cell phone is tapped. It is tapped.
Hey, if my cell phone is tapped, I must be a pretty important person for them to be looking at my life.
Well, actually,
I don't really care.
no, no,
A
no.
lot of these
Nobody's
things don't
saying
bother me,
nobody.
right?
Nobody's saying you are important or you are unimportant. What we are saying is that a lot of people are having their phones tapped, and that some people are now able to prove it. You know, there is a difference. I think
You were arrested. Why?
on trumped up charges. I was arrested for asking my paycheck. That was the first time, but consequently,
Asking your paycheck.
yes.
You notice that doesn't make sense, right?
Well, there's video evidence to prove it.
You asked for your paycheck and they arrested you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry about that, right? About your arrest for asking your paycheck. But
And
because
my
you were-
documents.
But because you were arrested, does not make every situation a negative situation.
No, no. How?
It does not
Well,
make
this
every
conversation,
individual
this
a negative
conversation.
individual.
Well, this conversation is interesting, but I'm not saying like everybody is negative. I think we must recognize what I'm saying. I'm saying that arbitrary detentions are taking place, and that we should be opposed as a society about arbitrary detentions. Are you saying that we should not be opposed of arbitrary detentions?
I mean, it depends on how you define arbitrary. That you see, that arbitrary detention. Speaking to you now, I could see that this term itself is already a loaded term, right? I don't know how you look at arbitrary.
For me, you are sitting in a McDonald's and a police officer comes.